A Pokemon card just sold for $5.2 million. Not because Pokemon cards are rare, there are millions of them. This one card is rare. Only about 37 copies exist, and one of them just got bought and insured for more money than most houses. That's the Pikachu illustrator. And this entire story is basically, why did that card become worth that much? Here is the thing, trading card games could have stayed small. Magic the Gathering invented the format in 1993. It worked, people loved it, but it stayed niche. It was always just a thing that you play along with a bunch of nerds. Then Pokemon happened and broke everything. The anime launched in Japan in 1996. By 1998, the US was absolutely losing its mind over it.
In my opinion, parents should not let their kids watch Pokemon, play Pokemon, buy Pokemon cards, have anything whatsoever to do with Pokemon because the message is violence.
Kids were trading cards at lunch, schools were banning them because fights were breaking out over who got what card.
They're not allowed at our school because it's such a craze and people like them so much they tend to steal.
School officials are finding that Pokemon cards are responsible for fistfights, and the constant trading is not only distracting kids from classwork, but turning the playground into a black market.
Parents had no idea what was happening. Retail couldn't keep up. Shelves would be empty before anyone even knew the product had dropped. Why? Because kids watched the anime, saw the characters they loved, and then went to a store and bought cards of those characters. That's the whole mechanism. It's stupid simple, which is why it works. So here's what actually happened. Anime Studio makes a show about a kid collecting creatures. In the show, he's building a team. So a toy company made real cards of those creatures. Kids wanted to build the same team as the character on screen. Boom, $1 billion industry is born. That's the formula. It's not complicated, it's not revolutionary, it's just a character you love plus a card you can own of that character, so you can spend a lot of money on it. The insane part is the card game itself was never the draw. Nobody cared about the competitive mechanics. They cared about owning a card of their favorite character. If you watched Ash Ketchum on TV and saw him with a Charizard, then when you held a real Charizard card, you weren't thinking deck building or tournament strategy. You were thinking, I have Ash's Pokemon. That's a completely different transaction than buying a card game. That's buying a piece of something you love. In 1998, when Pokemon cards hit the US market alongside the anime, the demand was absolutely insane. We are talking supply chain couldn't keep up, stores getting cleared out, kids getting into actual fights over cards at school. Why? Because the anime was huge and the card represented that anime. That's literally it, no mystery. And by the time Yu-Gi-Oh hit the US in 2001, the formula was already proven. The anime got popular, the kids wanted the cards sold out, no surprises. No wondering if it would work. Then every anime studio on the planet realized that they can do this too. Like Dragon Ball got cards multiple times actually. Digimon got cards, Naruto got cards, My Hero Academia got cards, Jujutsu Kaisen has cards. One Piece didn't get cards until 2022, which feels late. But when it did, it immediately became one of the fastest growing TCGs in years. Most of these don't survive at scale though. Dragon Ball tried multiple times before one actually stuck. Naruto had a loyal fan base, but it never hit mainstream. The ones that actually print money, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And One Piece is looking like it might actually join on that list. But here's the thing, they work for very different reasons than people think. It's not because the card game is mechanically brilliant, it's because the anime was popular enough to carry it. So speaking about all of this, at some point, the card stopped being about owning your favorite character and started being about an investment potential. The Pikachu illustrator that I talked about earlier is the very ground zero for this. It was never sold retail, it was a contest prize in Japan in 1998, given to winners of an illustration competition, hence the name Pikachu Illustrator. Fewer than 40 copies exist. As time goes on, copies get lost or damaged, and so the pool shrinks. So now we have this card that nobody can buy. It only changes hands at auction for life-changing amounts of money. That creates this idea that cards can be collectible in a way that art or rare items are collectible. On the Yu-Gi-Oh side, you have tournament prize cards from the early 2000s, cards that were limited to like 50 copies worldwide, given only to tournament winners. These sell for tens of $1,000s. But Charizard is different. Charizard was mass produced in the millions, but it was the first edition of the first set and it's iconic from the anime, and it's never stopped being culturally relevant. So even though there are millions of them, the first edition ones in good condition are still expensive. The weird thing about these cards is that they stopped being cards and became investment assets. During the pandemic, anime fandom and card collecting collided with the creator economy at the exact same time. Anime was more mainstream than ever thanks to streaming. People were home, nostalgic, and had stimulus money. And YouTube and Twitch had matured into platforms built for exactly this kind of content. First thing is box breaking. Streamers cracking cases of Pokemon or One Piece product live, selling viewers a slot in the break, turned an anime nostalgia hobby into a spectator gambling product. It has the visual language of collecting, but it functions like a lottery ticket with the content creator taking the cut. The grading risk followed right behind it. Influencers pushed the idea that a raw card was basically worthless and the PSA 10 was the only version that mattered, which created a month-long grading backlogs and a secondary market where a plastic slab could sell for 10 times the ungraded card based on a single number on a label. Big anime and collecting creators buying out entire store shelves on camera, then reselling at a markup, pushed actual kids and long-time fans out of their own hobby. Shelves that used to have Pokemon and One Piece products sitting there for anyone now get cleared by resellers before a normal person even hears about the release. And with that much money moving around, fraud followed. Counterfeit slabs, fake first edition claims, doctored grading labels, and resale boxes with valuable cards swapped out before resale. The irony? The same influencer content that introduced millions of new fans to anime card collecting also made the hobby nearly unrecognizable to the people who grew up trading these cards at lunch tables with no cameras and no dollar signs attached. Anime driven trading cards aren't dying. If anything, they are more dominant than ever. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh remain two of the best selling TCGs on the planet, and One Piece just proved the formula still works on a brand new generation. But notice the pattern in everything we just went through: Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, Digimon, Naruto, One Piece. Every single one of them is massive, mainstream, and already oversaturated franchise. So here's the actual question nobody's asking: what about everything else? What about the anime you would actually fight someone over? The one that changed how you saw storytelling. The one with characters so specific, so alive, that you have genuinely thought, I would main this character in a card game. Except that game doesn't exist. Nobody ever made it. There is no pack to rip open. There is no card of that final fight sitting in a binder anywhere because it was simply never printed. So, what if that changed?